I'd like to start by asking you where the idea for the Arabian Nights trilogy came from.
A film comes not from one idea only, but from several ideas or several desires of things. And in this case, there were two. One was to try to make a portrait of my country in a complicated moment in the history of the country, because Portugal was passing a moment of, with these measures of austerity, and so we were living a financial and social crisis. And so I wanted to film Portugal at that moment and tell stories about what was happening there. And at the same time, I wanted to do almost what looks the opposite, which is to make a film of tales, and tales so wild and rock and roll, like you see in the book Arabian Nights, which is a pretty wild book with crazy, surreal things happening with genies and flying carpets. So how to cross these two worlds, that was my job.
It seems like it has so many different elements to it. How long did it take to figure out even where to start?
We decided that we would start from, the blank page. So we went to an office with a team of journalists, and their job was to bring us stories of what was happening every week in Portugal. And with this material, we would transform it into tales for Sherazade. And so in the first day of the office, there was no story, there were no characters, there was no idea of how we would start, which story we would tell. But we established a period of time of 1 year for researching, grabbing these stories and transform it into fiction.
It took a year to get all these stories together, which is, before you even started filming, I assume. Huge time frame, which maybe does that put pressure on you to create the film?
In fact, we were not preparing, gathering all these stories and then shooting. We were doing both at the same time. So we were almost reacting almost live, So there were things happening, and, our goal was to, after a couple of weeks, being able to come up with a story from the real events that took place some weeks before, and to shoot immediately, and then restart the process. And so this year spent in the office, we were not much in the office because we were researching for stories in the office, writing, but we were shooting and then restarting the process for the whole time. So we were preparing the film, shooting the film, and even editing the parts that we have shot in the same period. So it was like making all the phases of creating a film at the same moment. It was a little bit tiring.
What do you want international audiences to experience when they watch Arabian Nights?
I think the film is so many things that I guess I imagine that if I project myself as a viewer, which is the only thing I can do because I'm only me, I'm not other people, I think that the film is offering many different things, and for me it's not, I cannot do this separation between serious business and having fun. I hope the film is funny and it's entertaining, and at the same time it's a film about our society. Of course it's about Portugal, but I think it's also about Europe, and so it's about our world and how is it to be living in this world today. And but to doing this, I think you don't have to renounce to the world of Sherazade, to the world of fiction, which is a world of pleasure.